At the bottom of the sign was almost invisible, like a secret shared only between those who knew where to look. J&R. She'd heard whispers about the place from a co-worker, something about a hidden bar, a relic from another time, filled with jazz, shadows, and the kind of drink that made your soul ache in a good way, a place untouched by the noise of the world. Madison needed that. She needed to disappear for a night, to slip away from her name, her job, her carefully controlled life. Inside, the air was rich with the scent of aged wood, brandy, and old tobacco. Dim amber lights hung low, casting warm shadows across the room. A solid oak bar stretched across the far wall, its surface marked by time and stories untold. Shelves behind it brimmed with rare bottles and obscure labels, and behind the bar stood him, tall, solid, beard trimmed to rugged perfection. His arms, inked in black and grey, peeked out from the sleeves of a rolled-up black shirt. He moved with the quiet confidence of a man who knew every inch of his kingdom. Jack. He glanced up from the glass he was polishing, eyes locking onto hers. Not a smile, at least not yet, just a stillness that said he saw her, really saw her. "First time?" he asked, voice deep and calm. "Maybe the last," she replied with a smirk, sliding onto the stool in front of him. "If it sucks." His eyebrow arched. Without a word, he poured her a glass of amber liquid and pushed it across the bar. "Trust me." She brought it to her lips, strong, hot, smooth like velvet over flame. "I might stick around." They talked, about nothing and everything, jazz records, old films, heartbreak and bartending secrets. The conversation flowed like a lazy river, slow and teasing. His gaze was steady, almost tangible. With each passing minute, the tension between them thickened, like smoke curling from a slow-burning fire. By the time he turned the lock on the front door, the world outside had ceased to exist. Only the two of them remained, bathed in warm light and unspoken promise. "So what happens now?" she asked, her voice lower, silkier. "Now," he said, stepping from behind the bar, "is when the real bar opens." Jack closed the distance between them. Madison felt the air shift, her breath catch. He stopped just inches from her, his cologne subtle, woody, masculine, intoxicating. He reached out slowly, fingers brushing the strap of her dress, letting it slide down her shoulder in one deliberate motion. She didn't flinch, just tilted her chin up in silent defiance. "You sure?" he murmured. "I didn't come all this way for a casual drink," she replied. Jack cupped her face and kissed her, deep, rough, and raw. She gasped against his mouth as his tongue teased hers, her body arching instinctively toward his. He pulled her close, their hips aligning, the heat between them unbearable. Her legs wrapped around his waist before she could think. He lifted her easily, placing her atop the bar with one strong arm, sending a row of glasses crashing to the floor. Madison barely noticed. His hands disappeared under her dress, pushing the fabric up around her waist. One quick tug, and her panties were gone, ripped clean. "So fucking wet already," he growled, lips brushing against her jaw. "And you haven't even started," she whispered, threading her fingers into his hair. Jack dropped to his knees in front of her, eyes locked on hers as his mouth found her heat. Madison moaned loudly, her back arching as his tongue circled and flicked with maddening precision. He licked, sucked, teased her mercilessly, driving her to the edge, then pulling back just before she could fall. She whimpered, hips grinding against his mouth. "Not yet," he said, rising, voice thick with lust. "I want you coming around me." He undressed in front of her, shirt first, revealing broad shoulders and a sculpted chest covered in ink. Then the belt, the pants. Her eyes widened at the sight of him. She slid off the bar and pushed him back onto it, kissing his chest, tracing the tattoos with her tongue, teasing him the same way he had teased her. But he didn't let her keep control for long. He lifted her again and pressed her against the wall, entering her slowly, fully. Her breath hitched as he filled her completely, stretching her in the best way. They moved together, thrust for thrust, kiss for kiss. The pace built quickly, urgent, desperate, like they were both chasing something just out of reach. His hands were everywhere, on her hips, her back, her throat. Then he spun her around, bent her over the bar, and entered her from behind with a low groan. She cried out, gripping the wood as he pounded into her fast and deep. His hands grabbed her hips, controlling every movement, every moan. She pushed back against him, matching his rhythm, her body quaking with pleasure. "Fuck, Jack, yes, right there!" Her orgasm slammed into her like a wave, stealing her breath, making her legs tremble. He didn't stop. Not until he reached his own release with a guttural growl, burying himself deep, collapsing against her back. For a long moment neither of them moved, just breathing, hearts pounding in sync. "So," she said, breathless, still bent over the bar, "is this part of the happy hour menu?" He chuckled, kissing the back of her neck. "Only for the ones who don't plan on staying sober." She turned to face him, still naked, still flushed. Her fingers trailed across his chest. "I think I'll come back tomorrow." Jack smirked, brushing a strand of hair from her cheek. "The bar will be waiting." And in that quiet moment, surrounded by shattered glass and the hum of an old jazz tune, Madison realized she hadn't just found a place to disappear. She had found her new obsession.